What is up, Nerd Nation? It's your boy Hunter, Film Nerd TV, and tonight we're doing another episode of the Nerd List, and we are already fucking dead. Oh my god. Behind the scenes stuff, I'm not going to get into it. But this episode is best horror movie villains. Because it is spooky time. It is Halloween season. My favorite season.
Oh my god.
But of course, we cannot do this show alone. I am joined by Malcolm Lay. How's it going, brother?
It's going pretty good. Just can't wait to see what villains people have that come up with. So.
Yep, definitely. I am joined also by Jay Burns. Jay, how's it going, brother?
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm still listening. Behind the scenes. I ready. Like I said, I have my top 10, but my honorable mentions list does stretch to about 15. So I do want to see where my top 10 versus my top 15 honorable mentions list matches up. Oh my god, the last thing I want to say is Alt F4 still works on people to this day.
And speaking of the man who used Alt F4, let's go, Brian. Bro, you are never gonna live that down.
I'm never gonna let him.
Oh my god. Yes, I was if you guys cannot tell, I was a dumbass who actually clicked Alt F4.
Right before. We were all stunned for like Okay. So for our new viewers out there, how it works is we have a top 10 ranking system. Then we eliminate 3, going down to our top 7, ranking 7 to 1. So the first 4 of the nomination is Malcolm.
Well, I mean, the first one I'm going to come up with, this movie villain is pretty much unseen in the whole franchise, and which makes it very interesting because it's one of those ones that you just don't see. You never know when he's coming. I'm of course talking about Death from Final Destination. A lot of fan theories say that Tony Todd, who's the mortician in all the movies, is actually Death personified. I mean, it's not confirmed, but it's just one of those interesting fan theories that every time someone dies, like Tony Todd is just one of those ones that you often see connected with the villains. So, yeah.
All right, so we have Death itself, Jay.
You're muted.
I know. That's why I was reaching for it. So this is one of those things that they've never really had this character be given like a legitimate actor in a series. To me, this is a no to me, even though death is the quantifiable thing that everybody reaches at their final destination. Oh, okay. Death is the final destination, obviously, but we never really have this confirmation of death being a character. I think the events themselves are more scarier than death itself in this series. So to me, this is a no for me. Like, I was curious about it, but I want to say I've watched 5 of these fucking movies, and I got bored after the 3rd one. This is something that isn't scary to me, so unfortunately, Death from Final Destination is a no for me for 2 reasons. One, because it's not a character that's embodied by any actor in the movie outside of a fan theory, a headcanon, if you will, and 2, death isn't the scary thing; it's how they die.
All right.
That's just me.
All right, so let's move on to Brian.
Yeah, this one, I never really thought about it actually because I never really thought about. I mean, the thing about the Final Destination movies was that, you know, I never really thought the mortician was death in itself, and I never even thought of it could be that way. Thought about possible. But having said that, death itself with how people were actually killed in the movie, I don't think you can technically call that as a villain in a way, but in other cases, you could just call it as like natural occurrences. But for that, I'm with Jay. I gotta give it a no.
Okay, so moving on to me. Yeah, I'm pretty much the same with Jay and Brian because I don't see the death as more of the villain, but more of it's not someone causing the deaths. It's more of
Of how they actually died. Per se.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So death does not make the list, and death is now pissed. But let's move on to Jay.
Okay, so
Alt F4.
yeah, I'm not the one who's gonna fall for that shit. You might want to check your systems
All
and
right.
update real quick. Hunter, how many times? Show 3 or 4 times now. Every time I've shown up on an episode, my list has been eccentric to say the least.
Yeah.
So my number 10 is actually Annie Wilkes from Misery, played by Kathy Bates. Yes, you could argue that it is more a suspense thriller than it is a horror movie, but once spoilers, she fucking smashes James Caan's ankles to goddamn dust with a sledgehammer. She truly becomes a horrifying character, and you see the terror and you see the fanaticism that being a fan of anything can push you over the edge into being. So Annie Wilkes from Misery is her 10 choice.
All right. Let's move on to Brian.
She was in my honorable mention. She's actually my number 10 as well. I loved everything that you said about that. It was definitely what I was going to say actually. I love that pick. I love that pick as number 10.
Thank you.
All right. So going on to me. Yeah, this was in my list. I love Misery, and Kathy Bates as Annie is fucking creepy as hell.
Yep.
Where's the cock-a-doodie buck?
Yep. And it really shows the toxic of fandom, especially today, which is, really a big idea.
That I cough.
Especially with the Star Wars fandom and stuff like that. What if that fandom goes a little too far? It's definitely creepy, so I'm giving it a yes. Malcolm, your choice you didn't have a say, so what would you have said?
As you know from this when I did 7 King adaptations on Rankum, I've still never seen Misery, so it wouldn't have mattered either way.
We're missing out. This is actually one of his better movies, one of his better books that has been made into a film.
Yeah.
It's on my list, so
definitely, especially since it's October, but there's only a couple of days left. I would definitely sit down if you can find it and watch it.
I believe it's available on Netflix. I hope
not
it is.
On New Zealand, not on New Zealand Netflix.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Let's move on to Brian.
All right. My number. This was actually. I'm gonna probably go with the with the out of play pick here. Yes, I did. Yes, I did say play because the movies that it's based around. I believe it's in the cult version right now of it. This villain has a cult following pretty much, and even the title of the movie says it in itself. It's Chucky. I mean, Chucky himself. Yes, yes, he can definitely. Okay, let me find out a way to say this. If you look carefully in like your dolls, he will most likely stand out as something as like as like a what the fuck factor to him. But if you the more that you look into him, then the more that you look into the doll there, then you're gonna notice something's really weird about it. And then that's when he really starts to like creep the hell out of people. So I'm gonna say Chucky.
All right, Malcolm, what do you say about Chucky?
It's a no for me. I've only enjoyed the first one. For me, he's an okay villain, but I really hate that doll. I think Annabelle is more creepier doll than Chucky is.
All right, so Jay?
He's barely the villain in 4 of the 5 or 6 movies he's in. He isn't even the creepiest portion of any of the movies that he's in. I'm not trying to shit on Mr. Alt F4's choices. What I am saying is that this is he is the creepiest he has ever been or ever will be in his first movie, and he's only creepy for the first 20 minutes of it, and then it just becomes this fucking joke. And I'm sorry, if I'm not going to be afraid of a fucking Furby, I'm not going to be afraid of a serial killer inside of a plastic doll whose main fucking prerogative is not to be melted but can be defeated by a lighter and a can of hairspray, which are 2 things that are available heavily in the 1980s and the 1990s. This is a bitch ass villain in the best of cases. And if you asked me if he was going to be on the horror villain Mount Rushmore, he wouldn't even be close. Barely in my honorable mentions. He is number 14 out of 15 honorable mentions that I have, and that's going from 1 to 15. So this is a no for me.
Yeah, going on to me, I didn't like any of the Child Play Chucky movies. I thought they were. First one was okay. Rest of them completely sucked. So yeah, no for me also.
We do have a save, right?
No, not here. We don't.
What the fuck? Okay.
You can get a save if you hit Alt F4 right now.
Okay,
Done. I will do it right now. If you want me to say,
no,
I will gladly save Chucky right now.
no.
If I do an Alt F4. Please, please.
Ryan, no saves.
Damn it.
All right,
Alright.
going on to me.
And if
Sorry, what, Jay?
Oh no, I was gonna say, and if this is the character that you want to save, I feel sorry for the rest of your list.
Oh yeah. All right, so mine's kind of a weird choice because like I absolutely love this movie, but you know what? Screw it. I'm going Dollface, Man in the Mask, and Pinup Girl from The Strangers. And the reason I have all 3 of them is because they are all 3 the main villains of this movie from The Strangers. The first one. I'm going with these 3 because it was just a random attack, and that's what makes it even more scary is that you had no reason why it was happening, but it did happen. You know, it was a home invasion. They were home. It was creepy. It was scary. You know, they were stalking the family throughout the house. It was, you know, they did everything that a psychopath killer would do, and that's what makes him just creepy and terrifying. So, Malcolm.
I've never seen The Strangers, but my favorite dollface is Emma McAllister.
Nice. All right, Jay.
Okay, so I know I was muted there. I would like to echo the sentiments of our native Kiwi who doesn't technically exist because neither does Australia. You're just an actor, so you can drop the accent. This was definitely like a thrillery movie to me, and there are some real life counterparts to it. Like, I want to say that there was a serial killer in the 70s or 80s who, if their doors were unlocked, would come in because he said it was basically an invitation for him to enter the house. Like, that gives it a little bit of real life purchase, but that doesn't necessarily make this trio scary. I wouldn't necessarily say that this isn't one of those things that was like visceral to me. This isn't one of those things that horrified me to my core. This was oh, hey, look, I might have forgotten to lock my door one night and now I'm accidentally being killed.
Accidentally being killed.
Yeah, this is really just hey, look, this is a movie that reminds you to lock your doors at night, but isn't necessarily a horror. This is a no from me. And like I said, I mirror Malcolm's views 100%. The only scary dollface is Emma McAllister.
All right, Brian. I mean, if you say yes, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but
the thing is that I consider The Strangers to be more of like a psychological thriller than it is of an actual horror movie. Having said that, yeah, I gotta give it a no as well.
yeah, that was my long shot. I didn't expect that to make it. So get it out of the way first.
That's understandable.
All
Yeah,
right,
it's understandable there.
let's move on to Malcolm.
Wait, didn't Jay have a pick?
Jay's
I
next.
did. No, it was Annie Wilkes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The only one to
Annie
make the
Wilkes
list.
was my pick.
Yeah, I mean, this one might get shot down for the same reason as Strangers, but I'm going to talk about it anyway because, like, for me, horror and thriller goes hand in hand, and it's one of those ones which sometimes you can't quite distinguish which is a horror, which is a thriller, unless. So I'm going to bring up Jigsaw from Saw, and I mean, the main Jigsaw is John Kramer, but in some of the sequels, like he was also like it was also Michael Hoffman using the Jigsaw name and all that. It's just one of those ones which shows like he's inventive, like his inventions he comes up with are so creative and quite often are tied to whatever the past of the victims are. Because I mean, you've got the pit full of needles for the drug dealers, like
In Saw 2?
Yeah.
No, that is by far probably one of the most fucking terrifying visual scenes I've ever seen, dude. No,
but yeah, it's just one of those ones which all the time I watch this, like I just keep thinking, like this is pretty much. And I mean, even though the fan theory doesn't matter for this one, but a lot of people saying he's actually Kevin McAllister from Home Alone for the invention of the traps.
I love that theory, by the way, because it makes so much sense. Okay, we have Jigsaw. Jay, what do you say?
I understand where Malcolm's coming from, saying that this might be more of a thriller than it is a horror movie. But the psychological point that Jigsaw makes, regardless incarnation that it is what makes it truly horrifying. And I think this is one of those things that I don't think a lot of people take into consideration, is that there's that old, I want to say it's an old Twilight Zone episode where they take all of the most evil, they distill all of the most evil things down into one thing, and they create the most evil thing ever, and it is mankind. It is a human being. Mankind is the most evil thing on the face of the planet, and just for that reason alone, just for the simple fact that, we talked about the needle pit from Saw 2, we can talk about Carrie Elwes's character in Saw 1, the primal fear that the situations that you are placed in these movies creates this sense of horror, this sense of tension. And for that, I am willing to give Jigsaw a yes. 100%. I am willing to give him. He's not going to make it into the top 5 for me personally, but I will definitely be willing to. He is in my honorable mentions, by the way, but he's not going to make it into the top 5, but this is definitely a yes for me.
Okay, that's 2 yeses. Brian, what do you say?
Definitely. That was definitely one of my other picks. Jigsaw, yes. I love everything. I love all the Saw movies because I enjoy watching all of them. Because I'm crazy like that. Anyways, and no, I do not alt F4 while watching the movies. But
you were crazy enough to the match started, so
okay. Anyway,
all right.
Anyways, yes. Jigsaw does make yes.
Jigsaw makes the list. Jay, on to you.
All right, so my number 9 is probably going to be a give me, and I mean, like, this is a gimme. If you had a micrometer to gauge the low balliness of this low ball character, I'm pretty sure if any of you have a reason why this character shouldn't be on this list, y'all need to alt F4 yourselves out of this conversation. And even if that's not the case, y'all can still suck a dick. My number 9, Fredward Cougar.
Fredward Cougar.
Fredward Cougar. Now, I know that me giving him that name doesn't make him scary, but if you remember watching the original 1980s Nightmare on Elm Street, this is by far one of the creepiest characters. And if you can tell me that you have never watched this movie as a child or an adult and lost a couple of hours of sleep because you couldn't take how weird or how crazy the concept was, technically be something that maybe in the craziest of realms might happen to you, then you're a fucking liar, sir. Freddy Krueger is by far one of the creepiest horror villains of all time. 100%.
So we have Freddy, Brian.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
3, 4, Freddy's at the door.
5, 6, grab your crucifix. Yes.
All right,
Put
going
him
on
on the
to me.
list.
I mean, he's iconic. It's gonna be a yes for me, also. I mean, of course, he's one of the icons. He's one of the horror icons. Malcolm, you didn't get a choice. What would you have said?
It would have been a hell yes for me as well. I mean, I'm probably in the minority, but I've never actually once been scared of a nightmare for an Elm Street movie. So he's a good villain. He's definitely creepy. And I'm not saying he's not, but it would have been he's for me anyway. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that just goes to show that Kiwis that don't technically exist have fucking testicular fortitude.
All right, let's move on to Brian.
I mean, should I go with the other with the other gimme over here. Yeah,
Might as well. Let's get him on the list.
Michael Myers.
Oh, that's the one that you went with? That's the one that you went. Okay.
No, I kid. It's actually Jason Voorhees. It's actually Jason. That's another gimme right there. Pretty much, I mean, the only thing about Jason Voorhees is that he's afraid of water. But if you try to kill him, he cannot fucking die. He cannot die. Simple as that.
Question, real quick, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but can you nail down a specific movie in which you are speaking about Jason Voorhees? Because I'm sorry, if you tell me the entire fucking Friday the 13th franchise, as much as I don't want to, I will tell you no. Don't say the first one because he isn't the killer in the first one.
No, he's not the killer in the first one. I don't want to go for the entire franchise.
I will give you a hint. As long as you say anything other than Jason X and Freddy Goes to Hell or Freddy versus Jason, you've basically got carte blanche, my guy.
No.
Oh, and obviously the first Friday the 13th movie.
I will say Friday the 13th Part 2, 1981 version.
Best choice. Literally the best choice.
He is unstoppable. He is unstoppable. He is terrifying as hell. And correct me if I'm wrong, was it Friday the was it Part 2 that we saw the hockey mask come into play, or was it Part 3?
Towards the end of Part 2.
Oh, the ending of Part 2.
It was the very end of Part 2. Yeah. Yeah, where he got rid of the fucking call it the scarecrow mask.
Okay, so Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th Part 2.
All right, going on to me. You picked the best movie, and it's going to be a yes for me. Hell yeah. He's, again, same with Freddy. He's an icon. I mean, you think of horror movies, you think of Friday the 13th, you think of Jason. So, yes, and you picked the correct movie, Brian. Malcolm?
I mean, it would have been, for me, it would have been yes anyway, and it actually didn't matter. To me, it actually didn't matter which movie Brian picked, because I actually liked all of them, even the bad ones. So, I mean...
Okay. All right, so Jason Voorhees makes the list. Jay, what would you
would have said?
No, I would have. Well, that's why I asked him his question.
Oh, okay.
Because there was a specific movie that I had in mind, because this is actually my number pick, and my number 8 pick is
which one was yours?
Jason Voorhees.
No, but
Friday
which
the
movie?
13th Part 2, 1981.
Okay.
That's literally what I have written down.
Okay.
That is my pick.
I was also thinking part 4 as well. It was going to be either between one of those two, Part 2 and Part 4.
This is where you see him become the indomitable horror force that you know for at least the next 3.5 or 4 movies. This is the movie that I do believe, we just talked about it. This is the movie that he gains his iconic hockey mask. This is the movie where you see him start to be that grudge holding individual against everybody who fits a certain type that has done him wrong. And I know for at least myself, you see a little bit of yourself in an individual like this, which gives you a little bit of not necessarily nostalgia, but at least I know how that feels type-esque situation. So this definitely would have been a yes for me. So Voorhees makes the list. I feel like this is another one of those this might be a Jigsaw situation where I don't think it'll make the top 5, whereas I don't think Jigsaw will. But this is gonna be a low top 5, not a high top 5.
All right, moving on to me. And if anybody has watched this channel for any amount of time, you know one of my all-time favorite horror movies is the one that got me into horror movies, and that is the original Scream movie. So I'm going the original 2 Ghostface, which is Billy Loomis, and oh my God, why am I thinking?
I can't remember his name, but wasn't he played by the guy who played Shaggy?
Stu.
Yeah.
There we go.
So I'm going with the original Ghostface killer from the original Scream movie because these guys, you understand where they're coming from at the end, and 2, you think they're fucking crazy, but you kind of get what's going on in their mind. The first Scream movie is just iconic to me. It's still, in my opinion, the one horror movie that ushered in the new era for horror at the time, and you still feel that presence today. So I'm going the original Ghostface. All right, Malcolm?
It's going to be a yes from me. I mean, Ghostface was incredible in The Sandlot. I mean, that was definitely great. But he was even more good in the Scream movies. And yeah, I mean, Billy Loomis is definitely the one that everyone remembers as being behind the mask. And yeah, it would have been a yes for me.
All right, Jay?
This is a tough one because honestly, this one didn't even make my honorable mentions. That is not to say that the Scream franchise did not, quote, reinvigorate the horror movie franchise, but so a little bit of backstory. I'm 28 years old. I believe the first Scream movie came out in what, 1990? 99? I was 9 years old.
No. 96. Sorry. 96.
See, I would have said 97. So, anyways, I'm still a year off. So
96.
It's not one of those things that has ever really stuck with me as a horror movie because I'm sorry, you had the Wayans brothers who came through a couple of years later and made what I can only assume is probably one of the best horror movie spoofs of all time with Scary Movie and Scary Movie 2, which completely demolished the entirety of the horror that one can build with a character like this. That being said, the only Ghostface in my life is Ghostface Killer.
That's what.
Shout outs to the Wu-Tang Clan. Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang did it for the children. This is one of those ones where I don't want to say lifestyle, but not even livelihood, but just the realms in which I grew up in. This wasn't necessarily a scary movie to me because by the time I could look at this and see it as a scary movie, there were already spoofs to this movie. So if it makes it, I understand for everybody else, but to me, this is a no.
All right, Brian?
Ghostface is in my honorable mentions. He is in my honorable mentions.
No, right off the bat. Sorry. If you don't agree with me, just Alt F4 out.
No, but you know what? Suck a dick. Yes. You know what? Suck a dick. Yes. It's a yes.
Hold on. That's a twat take. Go ahead and just run that back. Go ahead and re-choose your answer, my guy. I mean, I respect it just because you hate me that much.
I don't hate you. I don't hate you.
Yet.
Ghostface. Thank you. Malcolm, on to you, buddy.
I'm going to go for something a little bit more recent, and I'm going to go for Jennifer from Jennifer's Body. And I mean, whether you want to, and I mean, even though she's possessed by a demon, she's still essentially the villain of that movie. So I mean, and I mean, it's an interesting one, but like this is one that I watched through recently. Is like Megan Fox really shows that she can act in this movie. I don't know what
Megan Fox act.
Megan Fox does not show that she can act in this movie, but she does show off several assets in this movie.
Oh, she definitely does that.
But I mean, it's one of those ones which I enjoy enough to consider for her for this list. I mean, yeah.
All right, Jay.
Yeah, can you hear me? Because I need to make sure that you can all hear the next several noises that are about to come out of my mouth. This should be the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of your honorable mentions. Megan Fox couldn't act her way out of a paper bag where there was a sign in it that says exit. Jennifer's Body did nothing but give 17-year-old kids masturbatorial material. That doesn't necessarily make it a horror movie. Nothing about this demon inhabiting this girl's body made me terrified. Like, I want to say, and this is just mainstream movies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 19 and a half movies that came before this where the premise was the same, but they didn't have a quote unquote sex symbol in the movie. I do not like Jennifer's Body. I don't think it's well written. I don't think Jennifer's Body is well edited, and I don't think that it's well acted. And I think if you asked her the exact same thing, she would say, I barely remember that movie. The only thing I remember about that movie is that I wore pasties and I was really glad that scene was over after like 4 takes. Yeah, this is a no from me.
All right, Brian.
This is a very hard no from me.
Excuse me for 1 second, gentlemen.
Brian,
Okay.
please just answer.
No.
Thank you. And yeah, this movie's terrible. Yeah, it's gonna be a no.
Sorry, Malcolm. Sorry, Malcolm.
Let's move on to Jay.
Okay, so my number 8 was taken. He's already on the list. It's Jason Voorhees, so I can choose one for my honorable mention and argue for it, or I can just jump to my number 7. It's up to you guys.
Whichever one, bro. Just go ahead.
Go for your number 7. Go for your number 7.
No, actually, you know what? Because there's one on my honorable mentions list that I feel deserves to be in the number 10, in the top 10, but it has already been taken. So I will say Pennywise from It. The giant spider embodied clown, not necessarily the newer one.
Right, so you're going
Tim Curry.
Curry.
Tim Curry in the mini series Pennywise the Clown. I think it gives Pennywise a little bit more of a penchant to run amok, And I think even if you go back and you watch it nowadays, just a shout out really to Tim Curry's health problems that he's been having for the last couple of years. But even as a TV miniseries, this is still one of the reasons why clowns have been in a descent for birthday parties. This is one of the reasons why you see missing clowns come out. This is one of those things that has recreated the fear in Hollywood outside of like an Ed Gein for clowns in Hollywood in general. This is the individual who frightened me more so than Freddy Krueger to stay awake multiple nights. This is the guy who had Chinese food eggs replaced and live fucking chicks came out of it. This is the clown that terrified me throughout the night, and Tim Curry was the perfect personification of this individual.
All right, so I'm gonna go over to me real quick. Two things. Are you guys hearing an echo? Hold on.
Yeah, I'm hearing an echo.
All right, hold on. All right, it's gone now.
Yeah, it was probably on Jay's end.
Two
Sorry,
things.
Jay.
One, I love Tim Curry. I think he is a fantastic actor, but I don't count the miniseries as a horror movie, especially looking back at it now. And two, this is a horror movies list, and that's technically a miniseries, so I don't count it anyway. So it's going to be a no for me. Malcolm?
Well, here's the thing. I consider miniseries to be a two-part movie. I do consider it, but it's a hell no for me. It's the worst version of Pennywise. The better one was the 2017 one done by Bill Skarsgård. So
that is a lie. No for me. Know it. I'm sorry. That is a lie, and you know it. Bill Skarsgård barely played Pennywise. Don't even give me that bullshit.
I agree. I like Bill Skarsgård better.
Y'all don't know your fucking horror then, and I'm sorry that I have to sit here on this list.
I was never terrified by Tim Curry's Pennywise.
This just gives me purchase as to I don't trust you as a person, but okay.
You are an actor, Malcolm.
Your country doesn't even exist because we live on a flat earth.
Hi, Brian.
I was hoping you would have said 2017 Pennywise because I actually like the 2017 Pennywise a lot more than the hokey jokey version of Tim Curry's Pennywise.
Okay.
For me, Tim Curry's Pennywise annoyed the shit out of me, and I didn't want to watch. I didn't want to watch those movies because of Tim Curry as Pennywise.
I disrespect everybody else's opinions on this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it on my list anyways. No, I'm kidding, obviously. I disagree with all three of you, but I understand because I don't
love Tim Curry, and I do. The point I made when you left was, well, one, this is a movie list. I don't really count miniseries as movies, but that's just me. And two,
I count it as 1 4.5 hour movie. That's the thing.
Understandable, but to me, I don't count it as a movie. I count it as a miniseries on TV. But that's just where I'm coming from. And another thing.
No, I get that.
Looking back now, I found it more funny than terrifying. But
when was the last time you watched it, though? That's the thing.
Like a year and a half.
Because I was gonna say I watched this 2 weeks ago, and I literally just rewatched the 2017 It. And if I had to compare the two clowns, and this isn't even just nostalgia, if I had to compare the two clowns, Tim Curry's It still scares the shit out of me more than Bill Skarsgård's It. And Bill Skarsgård's It had better visual effects behind it. And if the thing that makes you fear your opponent or enemy or your fucking antagonist in a movie is the visual effects, then I'm sorry, that doesn't make a good antagonist. That just means that you have a decent special effects department.
But also on my end, though, I thought
That's all I'm saying. Like
it was a better movie than the '90s version.
I will debate you on that off air.
All right. So let's move on to Brian.
Because I want to go with an iconic movie that everybody loves a lot. That's more psychological thriller than. Okay, I'll go with the psychological thriller here, and no, you know what? No, fuck it. I'm gonna go with something that you cannot reason with, that you cannot, you just. It comes out wherever you are, and it's a creature that kills without question, and it killed a lot of people in a spaceship, or in a ship flying in space. I'm talking about Alien from the original Alien.
So you're talking about the Xenomorph.
Yeah, the Xenomorph. I'm talking about the Xenomorph from 1979 Alien. You cannot reason with it. You cannot try to talk to it. You cannot try to do anything. The only thing you can do is just try to fight your way to survive. But even if you try to fight your way to survive, you're probably gonna die. And even its spit is acid, and it'll burn you to death. So I'm picking the Xenomorph from 1979 Alien.
Okay, so we have the Xenomorph. Jay.
To tell you the truth, I am really curious at this point to see what the fuck the rest of Brian's list is to have the Xenomorph this high up, because this is actually in my top 5. So the Xenomorph makes the list to me. The Xenomorph is by far the creepiest thing that you can think of when it comes to an H.P. Lovecraft-esque character that you cannot talk to, that shows no remorse. This is the perfect sociopathic character in a movie that happens to be a killer. There is, like he said, there is no bargaining with it. But to see it come in at number 7 is really quite surprising, because this should be a top 3 tier fucking horror villain. That being said, this is still a yes to me.
All right, Malcolm.
I've never seen Alien.
Oh, you haven't seen the Alien movies?
You know what, Malcolm?
No.
Alt F4. Alt F4. Out of here.
Right. Going on me?
I'm not gullible.
I will be right back.
As someone who has seen the original Alien, it's going to be a yes for me.
Yay.
The thing is just so creepy. It stalks you. When it hunts you as its prey, you're done for.
Yep.
No way to outsmart it. There's no way to talk with it. There's no way to reason with it. It is there to hunt, and when it gets its prey, you are done for. And that's fucking scary. So the xenomorph is in.
Yay.
Alright, so on to me. I am going with a villain from one of my favorites. One of my favorite top 10 movies of all time. And that is The Silence of the Lambs. But I'm going not with who you think. I'm going Buffalo Bill Jane Gump.
Ooh.
When you, technically speaking, in Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter is not the main villain. But another thing is Buffalo Bill is fucking creepy. He hunts. He stalks women. He plays mind games with them, so he can kidnap them, skin them, and make an overweight woman's suit. That is terrifying, and it's based on real murders. It's based on Ed Gein and all of those serial killers that would use mind tricks or use certain scenarios to capture their prey. And Ted Levine does such a great job of portraying this psychopath character that shows no remorse. So I'm going Buffalo Bill from The Silence of the Lambs. Malcolm?
Well, I mean, if you had said Hannibal Lecter, it would have been a no from me, considering he's not the main villain of Silence. But with Buffalo Bill, it's still going to be a no. I mean, he's interesting as a villain. I just don't think he's top 10.
Oh my
Jay?
God. Buffalo Bill is
Sorry,
on the,
I had
is on the
to
table.
step away. Buffalo Bill's on the table, but outside of the xenomorph, has anything else been brought up
No,
in
the
this news?
xenomorph made it on the list. And
Yeah,
then
no, the xenomorph, obviously the xenomorph made it on the list. Buffalo Bill, no. I'm sorry, 100%. Buffalo Bill will never make it on this list. He is creepy, and I don't have enough time in my day to tell you why he is not even the best villain in the fucking movie for him to make it on this list. He is creepy, yes. And I disagree with Malcolm because I do believe that Hannibal Lecter deserves to be somewhere on this list, whether it's high or low. Hannibal Lecter deserves to be on this list more than Buffalo Bill does. So my answer is going to be a resounding no.
all right, and Brian.
I wouldn't have put him on the list as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not because of him. I don't think him as I don't think of Buffalo Bill as a villain per se.
Oh, Ted Levine is definitely a villain. He's just not a good one.
Oh, I wholeheartedly disagree on that one, Jay. But
I would still say no. I would still say no.
Well, I mean, Hunter, you can disagree with that all you want, but you can put the lotion in the basket so you can get the hose again because your fucking opinion is wrong. Just saying.
Malcolm.
Yeah, I think I might say that one.
7
I'm
or
gonna go
number
for-
6?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
4 more.
yeah. And I mean, for me, when I do these list shows, I actually don't put mine in a specific order either. But I kind of prioritize the ones I bring out.
Yeah.
It's just with the way we do it, but for me. But yeah. But the one I'm going to bring up is from one of my favorite musicals, and it's Sweeney Todd. For me, he's an interesting villain that, like, he wants revenge on it, and he concocts this whole plan to try and get the judge, and gets gets Mrs. Lovett to help him cook people into pies, and it's just one of those ones which I find really interesting. And there's not a lot of really good sort of horror musicals out there, but this, for me, this is one that I think is up there, and it's one of my favorite ones. So it's definitely a interesting villain, and it's not often we see a villain that's motivated by revenge on a specific person. So,
All right, Brian.
I have never seen Sweeney Todd. So
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, so that's unfortunate for the both of you. Malcolm, had you chosen the judge from Sweeney Todd, that would be something completely different. Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street, is not the villain of his own play. He is not the antagonist of that. He is not the antagonist of the musical. He is the protagonist. He is that individual that you cheer for, no matter what it is that he has gone through. One person that you want to see vindicated at the end of the day. I know my vote doesn't matter because these two fucking chuckleheads haven't seen it. And I respect this choice because honestly, I still listen to this fucking soundtrack to this day. This is one of my favorite musicals of all time. But it does not make my list. Unfortunately, that's a no from 3 people, though I will give you nothing but props, and I will recommend both of these two who should have already pressed Alt F4 during this conversation. Since they didn't do that, both of them should suck a dick and go watch fucking Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street.
I mean, I get what you're saying about the judge being the actual villain. I mean, the reason I went with Sweeney Todd is more of a case of like the judge, it's one of the cases of being two antagonists going up against each other. And I mean, Sweeney Todd sort of did the murdering of a whole bunch of innocent people before he got to the judge anyway. So that's kind of why I went that way.
And even with you saying that, none of the people that Sweeney Todd murdered were actually innocents.
Well,
so I will disagree with you on that one wholeheartedly, which technically still makes him the protagonist of the story, whereas even if you're looking at it from the really shitty Johnny Depp version, still makes Severus Snape the bad guy out of everything. Alan Rickman is still the bad guy in that movie, and he's still the bad guy in the fucking play. Sweeney Todd does, to me, not count as a bad guy. I'm looking for the perfect portrayal. And I think I might have it, especially if you've seen the movie in either version. He is like the main character from Old Boy. He is not the bad guy, though he has to do bad shit to get the resolution that he needs for his story. But that doesn't necessarily make him a villain. That means that he's just been pushed to his edge. And that is where I will end that one.
All right, so Jay, it's on to you.
Okay, so since we've thrown all formality to the fucking wind, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 already, I will throw the Thing from The Thing out there.
That was gonna be my next pick.
This is my number 1 pick, since I still have some sort of structure to my list. The Thing from The Thing is by far one of the creepiest things that I have ever seen come from the mind of a horror master. It's one of those things that you aren't even sure at the end of the movie that you actually defeated. Because if you go back and you rewatch everything that is detailed about the movie, you're not even 100% sure that you've beaten it. it's still technically around. If you go back and you rewatch the movie, the individual who wears the glasses at the end of the movie isn't wearing glasses but can see perfectly, even though they're technically prescription glasses and he shouldn't be able to see, which leads you to believe that the thing is still around. This isn't a movie that needed a remake. This is a movie that needed a sequel. This is a movie that should have been... The John Carpenter movie should have been so much bigger than it was, and it saddens me that it wasn't, but this is still one of the iconic horror movie monsters, and if you asked me if this belonged on the Mount Rushmore of horror movie icons, this would be up there, even though you don't know what the fuck it actually looks like.
All right, Malcolm?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those ones which I would argue doesn't really need a sequel. I mean, as a standalone movie, it just sits well because I mean, like the way I see it, like with the sequel, it could just be the similar plot thread really with different group of characters. But the thing I'm going to say yes to because like as a villain, this is really and it's what I was trying to get at with when I brought up death in the first place. Like you don't know sort of who is a normal person or who is the things. You don't know, and it's the fear of these sort of not unseen or not known people that really brings it out.
All right, Brian?
Hold on, before Ryan makes a point, I would like not just solidify what it is that Malcolm said, but maybe rebut something that he said. With the whole choice of death from the Final Destination, there is not a physical being that you can place upon him. Whereas with The Thing, there is. We have a headcanon, we have a fan theory about the morgue attendant being the embodiment of this, but with The Thing, we have something that we can place all that fear into, and that fear can change. That's all I wanted to say on that one.
All right, Brian?
Let's all agree on this. The 1984 version of The Thing or 1982 version of The Thing is a masterpiece in movie making.
I also want to say one thing. If you speak Dutch, the movie is ruined for you in the first 20 minutes because the two pilots who run away screaming an incomprehensible language say there's an alien. There's an alien. You don't know what you're getting into. Get out of here before everybody dies. And it ruins the movie in the first 20 minutes. It's kind of like watching Empire Strikes Back in any language other than English.
Yes, The Thing. Put it on the list.
All right. The Thing makes the list. I would have said yes also. The only one I've actually seen was the 82 John Carpenter movie, but I absolutely loved that movie. So,
well, the good thing about it is you don't need to watch the fucking tens remake of it with Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
yeah.
Because they're like, oh no, it's not a sequel, but it's not necessarily a reboot. It was very confusing and an unnecessary movie anyways. So
So let's move on to Brian.
Yeah, I'll do it.
you better come with fire, bro.
But I'll do it. The original movie of Halloween is a masterpiece in itself as well. I'm saying Michael Myers from the original Halloween. And you may shake your head, suck my dick. I'm putting Michael Myers on the list.
Y'all suck
Original.
your dick as soon as you hit Alt F4.
Michael Myers from the original Halloween. Malcolm, what do you say?
Yes. That's all that needs to be said.
Simple. Jay?
No.
I guess simple.
I mean, do you want me to get more complicated about it? At this point in time, we have both Freddy and Jason on this list, and you want to add the last component of the three of the triumvirate to this list? No. Okay, so we're taking great horror villains out of the way to be replaced with a moderately decent fucking villain. Get the fuck out of here. Michael Myers is the least concerning out of the two of the three that are already on the list. Michael Myers didn't become shit until he became a supernatural assassin after the fourth fucking movie. And we can't just act like 11 and a half movies didn't exist before the newest sequel to the sequel came out. Don't give me that. He is the blandest villain of all time. Nobody cares about the fucking George Kirk or the fucking William Shatner mask painted. He has had 2 different reboots and none of them have worked. The Rob Zombie movies were at best. At best.
The remake of Halloween 2 was garbage.
And now we have the individual who puts this individual on the list saying, I don't know about all of that. I think that you might want to change your choices because I don't even believe he belongs on the list. I believe he belongs in honorable mentions at best. This is a horror movie villain who hasn't been able to do anything for the last 20 years.
Wow.
I'm sorry, you throw Coolio into one of your horror movies, that doesn't make it good.
Busta Rhymes.
Busta Rhymes, but
Coolio, Busta Rhymes, you seen either one of them do anything since anything? No. Okay, my point's made.
Michael Myers is on the list. It's a yes for me.
I hate you. This is gonna be my number fucking. This is gonna be my number 10 choice. Because I don't think he should have made the list. Legitimately, we already have the horror triumvirate there, so we know where everybody's going to go, which skews the entire voting process.
Fuck! I should have gone with the. Damn it! Okay.
All right, me. I'm going with kind of a weird choice here, but do I want to go that or do I want to go that one? Okay. AJ, can you pause or mute?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
No problem. All right, so I'm going with all right. I'm going with Margaret White, the mother of Carrie in 1976's Carrie. Now, the reason I'm going with her is because she was the reason why Carrie ended up the way she was. It was her abuse. It was her treatment of her daughter that made that whole prom scene happen. She is the monster. She is the Dr. Frankenstein who created Frankenstein, who created this monster. And, she was just awful. She was horrendous. She did everything that an abusive mother would do. And the portrayal of her was just incredible. So I'm going Margaret White from Carrie. Malcolm?
Well, I mean, you said it yourself that you equate this with Dr. Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster and that. And For that, I'm saying no. I don't see Carrie's mum, even though she was one that effectively created Carrie the monster. I don't consider her the villain. I still say Carrie is the villain herself.
Carrie was never the villain, though.
Yes, but but that's the thing that with the whole Frankenstein comparison, Dr. Frankenstein is not the villain. He didn't mean for his monster to go killing people. The monster was the one that did the killing, just like Carrie is the one doing the killing. So
Technically,
Carrie
though, her mom killed people too.
Yes, but I still say no for that logic. So I mean, well, yes, the mum did the killing. I still reckon that Carrie is still the villain of that movie. Her mum was just the one that made it.
She was in my honorable mentions, but way down in my honorable mentions. She was probably like number 20 on my honorable mentions. I gotta give it a no. I gotta give it a no. And I actually agree with Malcolm's point. Carrie is actually more of a villain because she's the one who's actually doing the killing. It's not the mother leading Carrie to do the killing. It's Carrie doing the killing. So, in a sense, Carrie is the villain of the movie. So,
Alright, so it doesn't make the list. But Jay, what would you have said?
I'm sorry. I'm
What about Hellraiser?
in my honorable mentions. I'm sorry. I was having a conversation with my aunt about how y'all are fucking crazy for the mentions that you have made. Can I get a real quick recap on the choice? I'm sorry. Did you say
And
that
I
it
grew
was
up in the 80s.
that she grew up in the 80s? So what was the choice that you made? The mom
Carrie,
from Christine?
the mom from Carrie.
The mom from Carrie? I would have chosen Sissy Spacek out of anybody from Carrie.
The mom
but
from Carrie, yes, absolutely.
So she gives you a yes. I give you a no. It's not going to make the list. Let's move on to the next one.
Sissy Spacek is the mom.
Oh my god. Yep. Hold on.
No, she's not.
I'm trying to make out the words that he's saying. No, he's not.
Kiss Carrie.
Oh wait. What's he?
You're muted.
What? You're muted.
The words that I'm saying are Brian. Hit Alt F4 to understand what it is I'm saying.
No, please don't. All right, let's move on to Malcolm.
Oh my god.
I'm going to bring up someone who I do consider really iconic, and it's from yet another Stephen King adaptation. It is Jack Torrance from The Shining. I mean, this is another one that people may consider be more thrillery than horror, but I mean, it's one that, like, just the madness that Jack is going under is just one that is interesting, and it shows how just someone who may not show any villainous tendencies can just snap just like that. So I mean, it's interesting, and it can happen in real life.
All right, going on to me. It's an absolute hell yes for me. I love The Shining. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Jack Nicholson's performance as Jack Torrance is incredible. He is fucking creepy, and it's a yes for me. Brian.
I have such an unpopular opinion here. I have such an unpopular opinion. I don't really like The Shining. Every time if I ever see it, it just gets boring for me after a while to watch it.
Wow.
I can never rewatch it, man. I really don't. I really cannot. It's yeah. So for me, I got to give him a no.
All right. Alt 4, Brian. Just remember that. Alt
Okay, you know what? For that, yes.
All right, Jay.
I'm sorry. Who was the choice again?
Jack Torrance, Shining.
See, you know, the worst part about this is that Jack Torrance was actually replaced on my list by one person, and hey, look, F4 is back.
You happy about that, motherfuckers? You happy about
No,
that?
because I'm not the one who talked you into hitting the Alt F4.
All right.
That being said, this is a no for me, just for the simple fact that I think I chose the creepier choice to replace this character on my top 10 list.
Okay. All right. So, Jay, it's on to you. So, want to go ahead and tell us that choice?
Since I already had to throw my number one choice out there, and that was the creature from The Thing, my number two choice is Pazuzu, the demon from the first Exorcist movie.
Ooh.
Give me one quick second. This is by far probably the movie that got me watching horror films. This is not necessarily the scariest creature, but with the acting from Linda Blair and Max von Sydow and everybody else involved in it, this became one of the creepiest movies that you can ever watch. It doesn't matter how old you are. This is a movie that at one point in time will send shivers down your spine. I don't expect this. I expect this to make it into the top 10 list, but I do not expect this to make it in. This should be the number 4 scariest monster or villain throughout the entire list, because of just the creep factor. Now that, you know, now we're in the age that we are, and we can take a look at all of the wrongs that the Catholic Church has done when it comes to quote unquote botched exorcisms, whether it be Annalise Michelle or whatever her name actually was, whether it's it was a, and you know, my aunt is right, it was technically, you know, it was a boy. The sexual misconduct, this is one of those things where just through the lens of time you can take a look at this and see how skewed and how horrifying something like this could become. And Pazuzu, I'm sorry, this is by far probably one of the most quotable lines of all cinema. Your mother sucks cocks in hell. Like,
as she's jabbing her cunt.
as she's fucking herself with a crucifix. Yep. Like, that is one of the most iconic horror. That is one of the most iconic scenes in a horror movie of all time.
And they
like,
nearly cut that out on.
Yeah, and they nearly cut it out
when they did. Yeah. Area, and I was 10 years old.
All right, so Malcolm.
It's a yes for me. It's simple.
All right, Brian.
Give me 1 second here. Hold on. I need to bless myself really quick with all these amount of rosaries, because this movie really terrified me like a motherfucker. So yes, put it on the list, please. Put it on the list before it starts haunting us through our computers. Please.
I want to say yes. Also, I love the original Exorcist. The rest of them suck, but you know, I absolutely love this movie, and that demon was fucking terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Brian, we have one spot left. Go ahead.
Oh my God. What do I do? What do I do, man? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do, man? Do you want to come back to me on that, or
Well, it may not come back to you
Yeah,
if you want to.
oh my god?
it may not come back to you though. That's the thing.
Okay, you know what? I'll throw this random pick out here. I'll throw this random pick out here. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Valak from The Conjuring 2.
Ooh,
If you think about it, the story behind it, this was the case that what was the name? Maureen Warren
hmm
had really. This one was the one that stuck out to her a lot, and it's the one that made her want to, stop doing exorcisms and whatnot, and stop becoming a medium and start living in reality. She wanted to put all of that behind, but once her husband, started having dreams about Valak, then it starts becoming, it goes back to her again, and she starts. It's a movie that, in my opinion, when I first saw it, I was really terrified about that movie. I was very terrified about it because it got very much under my skin. That movie got under my skin a lot. And I actually felt her pain going through it. So I gotta say Valak from The Conjuring 2.
all right, Malcolm. Valak.
Never seen The Conjurings.
Jay.
You need to watch it, dude. You need to watch them.
Hellraiser.
You can't keep bringing the Cenobite into the conversation. I get where you're coming from, but you can't do it. No, you can't. I'm yelling at my aunt because the Cenobite from the Hellraiser series or franchise is in my honorable mention. She wants me to keep bringing that up. The Conjuring franchise to me was nothing but another cash grab.
Oh
No, The Conjuring, just like the Paranormal Activities movies, is nothing but a cash grab.
Paranormal Activity. Okay, go ahead.
The Conjuring franchise, just like the Paranormal Activity franchise, is nothing but a cash grab to me, and for that reason, that's a no. I'm sorry. And if this movie makes the list, I will be wholeheartedly surprised.
Well, Malcolm said no, so, and you say no, so technically it doesn't make the list.
Yeah,
So.
I probably would have said no because you waited till now to do it. Because with one spot left, I just couldn't see putting that as the last spot. But I absolutely love the Conjuring movie so much. Okay, so back to me. Okay, I gotta bring out. Do I want to go with him?
Just go with Jay's pick, please. Just go with Jay's aunt's pick. The Cenobite from Hellraiser, please. Just do it. Just for Jay's aunt, please. Just do it.
No, don't try to give her validation. The Cenobite should not be pick number one.
Okay, Jay, you know what?
Number one.
How about you alt F4 out of this conversation, please? And bring your aunt in here, please. Bring your aunt in here.
All right, I'm going Norman Bates from the first Psycho movie.
Get the.
I'm sorry. Hard pass. That's a no from me, dog.
Brian?
Nah, I'm sorry. No.
Malcolm?
I actually would have said yes.
Oh God.
Dude, Psycho is a horror classic.
It's a different
Psycho
category.
is a horror classic,
It
but
is,
there are
but that's a
multiple different reasons that you should have chosen multiple different people for that. And had you chose him at like number 8 or 9, there would be one thing, but you decided to wait until he decided to wait until the last moment to choose Norman Bates.
Okay.
Had he brought Norman Bates in before maybe number 5, he probably would have made the list. And he's one of the reasons why Norman Bates at my number 6 hasn't made an appearance. He's nowhere near as scary as some of the people that we have brought in from 5 to 2.
But that's
Jay, how about you bring out a pick?
Malcolm.
so.
Oh no, Malcolm. My bad. Malcolm.
Yeah, I'm running out of options on.
Yeah, same.
Ones I had down, so I'm
Y'all
gonna-
are running out of options. We still haven't even barely touched my fucking honorable mentions. I'm just saying.
I was talking about the ones on my own list. But yeah, so I'm going to go with a last ditch one that I'm pretty sure will get shot down anyway. And I'm going with the Leprechaun from the Leprechaun franchise. I mean, let's put it this way, it doesn't matter if it was Hornswoggle or the Rock Davis version. I find that Leprechaun actually creepy and just an entertaining one that, like, it shows that not all horror villains have to be flat out scary. They can sort of be a kind of mixture of scary and sort of funny at the same time. So
Yeah, it's gonna be a no for me. Brian?
No.
Jay?
No.
All right, Jay.
There was no way this should be an honorable mentions, if not a top. This should be a top 11 pick. Even if you said the Leprechaun from the Leprechaun franchise, right there, Mr. George Lucas? Okay.
yeah,
So that being said, even if you had brought in Leprechaun, they called it Leprechaun Back to the Hood? That would not have been a good choice for you. So what I will do, because I do now believe, since everybody laughed that one down, I will throw that if you don't select this one as a number 1 choice, you might be a racist card out there. I am choosing the. Oh, I'm sorry. Hunter, who is it that I'm choosing, since you know who I'm choosing so far?
No, go ahead. You say, because I think I know where
Yeah, I'm choosing the Armitage family from Get Out. The creepiest family in the last 20 years of horror thriller. The family who tries to make the African American outsider think he is a member of the family by saying the cliche things that you would want an upper class white family to say, like, I would have voted for Obama a 3rd time if I could have, or my fucking grandfather almost beat Jesse Owens at the 1936 Olympics. And you're like, okay, so these are just slightly racist things that old fucking white people might say. And then you find out that they are literally placing their minds within the bodies of African American individuals because it's the thing that they most desire in their life. This shouldn't be my number 1 pick, but y'all decided that you wanted to go out of order and y'all wanted to put a couple of people on this list fucking higher and a little lower than they deserve. But the Armitage family, for their creepiness factor, the fact that they can use hypnosis to their fucking why can't I think of the word? They can use hypnosis to help them in their ordeals, and then I'm sorry, say what?
the sucky place. Is that what you're talking about?
It's well, no. I was just gonna say hypnosis
Oh,
to
okay.
help them out, but the hypnosis does put people into the sunken place, but that's only because that is an idea thrust into them when they're under this hypnotic suggestion. And again, this is the reason this family is on my list is for the exact same reason that Annie Wilkes is on my list. This is a human family. This is a family that shows you the worst of everything that humanity has, because their family got cheated out of what they feel are privileges or certain rights. They want to get revenge. They want to strip the life in the brain, and as far as we know right now, the brain and the entirety of how synapses react in our brain creates our consciousness. They want to strip that from an individual and place themselves in it in some bizarre, macabre invasion of the body snatcher situation. The Armitage family should not be my number one choice, but because of the wibbly wobbly esque nature of it, is my number one choice.
All right, Malcolm.
I like Get Out as a movie, but it's a no to the Armitage family. I don't find the memorable as a villain.
All right, Brian.
I have never seen the movie.
You fail as a human being. Just go ahead and alt F4 yourself out the situation right now.
Yeah, Jay. I mean, even if I was gonna say yes because I love this movie so much, but with 2 no's, it would be out anyway.
So you're just gonna fucking be a lemming and jump off the cliff with the one person who says no and the other person who's never seen the movie? I think I just lost a little respect for you right there, my guy. You just followed the norm.
Good.
No, you followed the norm. You said it wouldn't have been a no had it not been for the other 2 no's, but you just followed the fucking norm on that one and jumped off the cliff.
Failed poorly as a host.
I just want to put that out there so everybody can be like, oh, what did he say in the comments? How dare he? And then they think about it and they're like, son of a bitch, that guy in the purple hoodie is right. What did he say? Where is he at on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Yahoo, and Instagram and
Yahoo? All right, Brian.
Fuck you, you don't know me. I'm on Yahoo.
I'm really running out of options.
Yeah. Maybe y'all should have come up with better horror villain.
I got.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I not muted?
I got nothing, man. I have nothing. I have no other picks.
All right, Malcolm.
Honorable mentions.
Dude, they're all shit. The rest of my honorable mentions picks are all shit picks.
All right, Malcolm.
You give it out. One of them could make it on. Isn't it? I'm out. Go to Jay.
Jay.
Okay. So now that we're back at me, you fucks, you're stuck. You're gonna have to listen to this lecture on what real horror villains are. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm not gonna allow Candyman onto this list at this point in time.
That's why I was thinking you were going before.
And I'm not gonna go the Xenobite. I'm not gonna go the Cenobites just because I'm a spiteful individual and I want to hear my aunt fucking bitch at me about it for the next 45 minutes. I've already had to duck onto my honorable mentions list because somebody chose Some people chose a couple of the different ones that I had, so I will go with the horror granddaddy of them all, the individual who, if you don't think of this character in movie, book, even hentai, Rule 34, Rule 63, whatever it is that you look at with horror, you should. This is Bram Stoker's Dracula. Not his bitch-ass son Alucard, which is just Dracula's name spelled backwards, but Dracula. The individual based off of a real-life person, somewhat like Leatherface was with Ed Gein. And now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I should have gone with Leatherface, but that's okay. I'm stuck with Dracula. Dracula is by far probably the scariest motherfucker on this list because you take into account the supernatural that Dracula brings to the equation. Whether he can turn himself into a mist full of bats, whether or not he actually drinks blood to sustain his life, whether or not he can hypnotize you with his eyes, whether or not you listen to the children of the night. Dracula is by far one of those horror stories that you hear no matter what your age is, in the middle of the night, drunk around a fire, sipping a snifter of brandy, trying to shotgun a 211 in the middle of the street with your friends, where you're like, maybe this vampire might be real. But this is the first story that you think of when you hear a vampire. When you think of the horror term vampire, Dracula is the first thing that you think of. And I don't know why. I'm actually a little surprised that this didn't come up on anybody else's list. I guess I should be fucking happy that Steve Dorff didn't show up on anybody else's list as Deacon Frost. But Dracula is my pick. And if y'all shoot that down, Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know what to say about y'all.
Let's start with me because I haven't seen that version of Dracula.
Have you seen any Dracula movie ever?
I've seen, I think, one or two of them.
Okay, then you've seen one of the 18 fucking movie versions of Dracula. I don't want to continue to hear I've never seen this movie. There have been 22 different versions of this movie. You've seen at least one of them.
It's still gonna be a no for me.
Okay.
Alt F4. Alt F4 out of here, please.
Seriously.
Yes for me. Yes.
Malcolm?
This is one that I just simply forgot about. We made this list. Like when Hunter came up with the idea, like it was literally like 45 minutes or so before we actually started this, and it's a yes for me. And I mean, this is one of the ones that, like, well, yes, there's been many different versions.
We finally have.
But when you specifically say like the movie, then you've got to go for that version of the character, no matter what. It's just one of those things.
Oh, I'm sorry. Abbott and Costello meet Dracula. It's still the fucking choice that you would make.
That movie is fucking amazing. Okay?
I know.
That movie is amazing.
Top 10 list.
Finally, about time.
All right, so our picks are Dracula. I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher this name from The Exorcist. Jay, do you want to say it for me?
Pazuzu.
Pazuzu. Michael Myers,
You got it right.
The Thing, The Xenomorph, Ghostface, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Jigsaw, and Annie Wilkes. All right, so we are now going to eliminate 3 of them to get down to our top 7.
Really? You gotta be fucking kidding me right now.
We're doing it one at a time, though, right?
Yeah, one at a time.
Okay.
Oh my god, bro. The fuck. God.
Well, I'm sorry. If number 10 is a difficult fucking question for you, then you need to leave. Just Alt F4 and suck a dick right now.
No.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, is everyone ready?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not ready.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He
Pit
better
down.
have a name or he's fucking out.
Okay, I have a name.
All right, I'm starting. Jigsaw. Malcolm.
Just the simple reason I haven't seen it. Annie Wilkes.
Jay.
Jigsaw, baby.
Brian.
Make it 3 in a row, Jigsaw.
All right, so Jigsaw is off of the list. All right. Next one.
Can I get a repeat and or a challenge?
A challenge. All right, so what we have left is Dracula. All right, Jay, can you mute real quick?
Yeah, he's muted.
All right. So we have Dracula, Michael Myers, The Thing, Xenomorph, Ghostface, Jason, Freddy, Annie Wilkes, and Pazuzu. Did I say it right?
Pazuzu.
Pazuzu. Damn it. Close.
Pazuzu.
Pazuzu.
Pazuzu. Hey.
All right, you ready?
Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
Malcolm.
I'm just gonna keep trying.
Jay.
Michael Myers.
Brian.
That's like Ghostface.
We have complete opposites.
I say Ghostface.
One of us is gonna have to change. You know what? Michael Myers. I'll vote Michael Myers.
Okay. 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 Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I don't.
No shit, because he barely deserved to be on the list.
He totally deserved to be on this list.
He deserved to be on the list.
Fucking lie to yourselves, dude. Y'all need to fucking rewatch some Halloween movies. He's the worst fucking villain to make the list. Miss me with that bullshit.
All right, I mean, we don't have to go to Malcolm because we know he's gonna keep trying.
Yeah.
All right, is everyone ready?
The fuck, dude? What the fuck am I gonna
Sure. Now I'm ready since you gave me 4 seconds to write an answer. You dick.
Yep.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Why not? Okay. That.
All right, Jay.
The only member of the Wu-Tang to make the list. Ghostface Killer.
Brian.
Ghostface.
Malcolm.
Annie.
Fucking hell. I had Dracula.
Well, Ghostface is off the list.
Yep.
Yay.
Motherfuckers.
But
All right.
you
So
don't
now
like it? You don't like it? Suck a dick.
from 7 to 1. So write down what you think should be at number 7.
I know what Malcolm is gonna put.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we already know what Malcolm is gonna put. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
So just go ahead and skip him.
All right. So Brian, are you ready?
Yeah, why not? I'll go with Malcolm. I'll go with Malcolm. Annie Wilkes.
I had the Xenomorph.
Really?
Jay?
I had Jason Voorhees.
And then Malcolm, of course, had Annie.
Yeah.
So,
Right?
Annie Wilkes.
Hmm.
All right, number 6.
I'm ready.
Oh
Comment
god.
hilarious. Maybe we should hit Alt F4 because I'm ready. I'm ready.
Bonesaw is ready.
I appreciate that Macho Man Randy Savage reference right there from the person who doesn't technically exist.
All right, Malcolm, start.
I couldn't be bothered trying to spell the name. I put Exorcist Demon.
Boo! Boo! You're a horrible person. I'm glad your country doesn't exist and you're a fucking actor, sir. I'm glad the earth is flat.
Jay?
Oh no, bitch. I said Jason?
Ryan?
Xenomorph.
I
Alien.
also had the Xenomorph.
By the way, had Xenomorph misspelled. It starts with an X.
Oh,
So what do we do? Does there have to be a fucking vote change for that to become the number 6?
No,
Or-
no, Xenomorph. No, Hunter already had Xenomorph. So
Yeah.
it's 2. So, and I put Xenomorph. So,
Well, y'all are both a bunch of whores because this should have easily made the top 5. So I disrespect every choice that y'all have going forward because y'all obviously
you know
have
what's
horror.
thing today, so I mean, I'm okay with
Y'all both have movie choices going forward. If the Xenomorph doesn't even crack your top 5, you sluts.
that.
Oh
Right.
shit! I
thank
said
you
Reddit.
thank you for that.
Malcolm,
Exorcist Demon.
Exorcist Demon. Jay?
God damn it, dude! You had enough time to write Pazuzu. Pazzuzu. Pazuzu. Jason, bitch.
Brian?
Jason.
Brian?
Pazuzu.
You're a whore.
And I actually had the thing, so Pazuzu is number 5.
I hate you all.
All right.
I don't think if this choice doesn't make it, I'm not erasing my board. So
All right, I'll
you're
start.
all a bunch of whores.
Dracula.
You're a
Fuck
bitch.
you.
Malcolm?
You're a bitch.
Jason.
Motherfucker. Jay?
Oh, wait. Hold up. Malcolm could take the time to write Jason Voorhees, but couldn't take the time to erase Exorcist Demon and write the shorter Pazuzu to write Jason. Get the fuck out of here. Malcolm, I don't know about you anymore.
Brian?
I'm not gonna edit. I'm not gonna alt F4 out of here. I'm gonna finally agree with you, Jason. I'm finally gonna agree with you on that. Mommy, Daddy, don't get mad at me.
No,
Shit.
now I want to fly down there not only to experience the lush world that fucking Peter Jackson has fucking tranced me with, but to smack the shit out of Malcolm Goldie Lay. Now I am truly fueled to travel to a realm that does not exist.
Malcolm,
The Thing.
Jay,
Fucking Freddy, bro. Freddy.
Dracula.
fucking finally, Dracula.
Y'all are a bunch of bitches.
So now we're voting for number 1.
So we need to vote for number 1.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I hate the fuck out of all of y'all. So Michael Ghostface, Xenomorph, Pazuzu, Jason, Dracula. Fuck it, I'll put him as number 1.
All right. I'll start.
Just because y'all are a bunch of sluts.
Freddy Krueger. Malcolm.
Freddy Krueger.
Brian.
Freddy.
And Jay.
Fredward Krueger.
All right. Finally, our clean sweep on the last one.
Mother of dicks.
And then the Thing is number 2. Okay, so we have our top 7 finally. And number 7, we have Annie Wilkes. Number 6, the Xenomorph. Number 5, Pazuzu. Did I say it right at the time?
Yay!
Number 4 is Jason Voorhees. Number 3 is Dracula. Number 2, The Thing. And number 1, Freddy Krueger. Holy shit, that was a long ass list.
Well, maybe y'all should have chosen better horror characters and it could have been shorter.
We did. You kept turning them down.
Like I said, maybe you should have chosen better horror characters and it could have been a shorter list.
Let's get
You
to
need to Alt F4 that idea right now.
Let's get to the plugs. Malcolm, where do people find you?
You can find me on Take 3 Productions, where I host a show similar to this called Rankum. We're on tomorrow, for this week only, and we're doing Halloween songs, and then the week after we'll be back at the usual time. You can also find me competing in trivia on Multiplex and Full Metal. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Stardust at Melkor.
Jay.
As I've said before, and I will continue to say again, all of the important people know where to find me, and if you don't, ask an important person where you can find me.
What's that, Brian?
I'm gonna officially put my Instagram and Twitter name at altbf4. So there you go. I'm gonna officially change it tonight. But you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DamnYouBrian. And look for me on the various leagues and whatnot. So that are everywhere.
At Damn You Burns, because he got me.
All right. If you guys enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe to Film Nerd TV below. Hit the bell icon and join the Nerd Squad today. If you are a fan of pro wrestling, check out the weekly podcast, The Week of Wrestling, where myself and Nico Swabby Regoli talk everything from WWE to pro wrestling or to indie wrestling news. All right, guys. I'm Hunter. I'm a fun nerd. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.